He obviously thinks that Kimmy is some sort of house slave and sex slave. Because you want her to have sex with you whenever you want to, but you also feel like that's woman's work or not man's work to do things around the house.
Back up on my bullshit, back up on the scene. Done dealing with you, don't know how to deal with me. Done fucking with you, don't know how to love me.
Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back. If you are new here, I am Sharon. So today we are going to be reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 5, Episode 2. So let's get into it. So this episode picks up with the continuation of the dinner, and Dr. Francis says that it's, I guess, like 2 stages of playing the game. One, you play a game, and then when you're caught playing the game, you play a game of not playing the game. And I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. So Dr. Francis basically says that the Whitlows are faking it. Like, he basically says that they're fronting and they do not like that at all. And I mean, I guess in their defense, nobody would want somebody to sit and tell you that you're faking it in your marriage. So I can understand them feeling away. However, for me, I would have wanted to know, like, what is it that you see that makes you draw that conclusion? Like, what are we giving off? What are we emanating that says that we're faking it? Coming from a professional, like, let me know. You know what I'm saying? But they were very defensive and they were not really trying to hear anything Dr. Francis had to say. So then it's the next day, and then we see Marceau making breakfast. And I was like, no, he is not making breakfast for himself. No, he did not get up and make breakfast for himself. But you know what? As the episode progressed, I feel like they all were kind of like eating in their individual couples. Like when Kimmy and Maurice were like outside when Dr. Francis came out to talk to them, like they were out there like eating like their own little meal, I guess, that Kimmy had prepared. And then Dr. Francis was like, no, I'm good, like we have something, like meaning him and his wife. So I'm like, dang, y'all had to like eat separately and like make your own food like separately for like y'all individual couples. I don't know, that seemed a little strange. But girl, how do we get on this? I just thought it was funny that it seemed like Marceau was making breakfast for himself, but then like we saw he did make extra eggs, and I don't know if he made just extra eggs for Tisha or what, but anyway. So at this little like morning breakfast situation, basically we get Louis apologizing. And I was feeling Marceau when he was like, now that somebody is critiquing you and digging into your marriage and giving opinions and all of that stuff, which are solicited because you're here. So at least in this case, the opinions are solicited. The opinions that they gave were unsolicited. But he is like, now you want to apologize because somebody is doing the Louis on you. No, sir. And I'm here for that. Because, you know, sometimes I'm a petty cancer. Okay, what can I say? But it was so funny because they were so salty at that table. And I loved everything that Kimmy had to say. Like when Kimmy, I just love Kimmy. But when she was expressing that, like, y'all are not receptive to anything and he is a professional, and then somebody, I can't remember who it was, they pointed out that, like, you obviously don't respect him in his profession, that like you're basically counting out what he has to say. And I do feel like they are coming on that type of energy. But I just loved when Kimmy was just basically saying, like, y'all are not receptive to anything, your energy is defensive and dismissive, and it's just like, why are you here? To me, it was so funny when Tiffany basically said that she felt attacked by everybody. And it's like, girl, you feel attacked? Like, y'all had opinions about everybody's marriage, and then they even cut to a scene where they were talking about Tisha and Marceau, and it's like y'all had so much to say about transparency and being honest, and this how you do in your marriage, and this what you should do, and this what you shouldn't do. And now that you're in a setting where people are now giving their opinions on you in the proper setting, you feel attacked. Girl, please go away from me with this, in the words of Phaedra Parks. No, ma'am. So in this episode 2, we get Mel meeting up with Martell's mom. I believe her name is Miss Marlene. I feel like she was still saying that, like, you were being lazy. And I just feel like maybe Miss Marlene is confusing equality in a marriage with Mel being lazy. And I loved when Mel said later on in the conversation, like, there have been times where I am waiting on Martell hand and foot. And then there have been times where Martell was doing for me. And that is called give and take, reciprocity. Like, that's how it should be. But I think that, like, a lot of the times some women like to wear it as a badge of honor that they do everything. They literally run around like chickens with their head cut off, doing every single thing. They're maintaining the household. They're working full-time jobs. They're taking care of children. They're doing everything. Meanwhile, the husband gets to just lay around and do nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? While you're running yourself into the ground. But I feel like what was probably taking place was, no, I'm going to do stuff and you're going to do stuff too. We're going to help each other. So when I am maybe in a point or feeling extremely exhausted or tired and I need a break and I need some rest, yes, I'm going to call on you. And so I think that, like, that is what Miss Marlene may be misconstruing. Like, Mel does not give me lazy at all. At all. Like I said in the other review video, if Mel was lazy, she wouldn't be where she is today. You cannot be where Mel is and be lazy simultaneously. They can't happen. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that, like, maybe Miss Marlene is confusing the two. Like, no, he helped her when she was probably feeling low on energy or whatever the case may be. But she was sticking to that. She like, no, you was lazy. And it's just like, Mel, I thought it was like nice of Mel to like just give her that and just be like, whatever. Like, if that's what you want to say, if that's what you want to call it, that's what you could call it. I'm going to unblock you now. We good. Because for me, I don't know if I would have been able to do that. Because, like, I don't really feel like they came to a resolve. Because Mel's issue was that she said that she was lazy. And she didn't really apologize for it or recant. Like, she doubled down. So I didn't really feel like it was a real resolve. I think really Mel just was like, you know what, I'm going to be the bigger woman and just let bygones be bygones. And again, shouts out to her, because I don't know if I would have been able to do that. Like, you're not about to be going on national television trying to make it seem like I'm lazy. But I think also too, Mel knows that, like, people don't believe that, you know. Then we have the scene cut back to them at the retreat, and they have like the heart-to-heart exercise. And we see in this scene, Louis opens up and he sheds some tears, and I felt like it was funny that, like, Dr. Francis said the philosopher got tired and he left, or whatever the case may be. And then I feel like right after he said that, Louis turned back into the philosopher. Like, I just was like, you couldn't just like let the moment of vulnerability just like ride itself out. But we also get Tisha opening up about her friend that passed away, which is very, very sad. They said it was very sudden. And it's just like, that makes me so sad. But like, I also just feel very nervous about that, because the reality of the situation is you never know when it's your time or somebody else's time that you love. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's just, I'm not even gonna go into that, okay? Because I'm a sensitive emotional Cancer, and I could sit here and cry on this screen just thinking about that. So I'm gonna move on. I digress. Martell and his mom talk, and I didn't really feel like there was much going on there. She tells him that like her and Mel met up, and that, you know, they made peace or whatever the case may be. And that was really all that was talked about in that scene. So then it cuts back to the retreat again, and Dr. Francis talks to Tisha and Marceau. And Marceau and Tisha were saying that, like, prior to, I guess, coming on the show, they felt like everything was great between them. And then once being on the show and their relationship getting so much critique, they kind of started to feel like, eh. But I feel like what I've noticed about, like, these brothers, Maurice and Marceau, is that they have very antiquated views of like what a wife and a woman in the household should be. And I don't see how anybody, like any modern day woman could be like married to them. Like, it's insane. But they just basically talk about that. And I liked what Dr. Francis said. He said, like, the truth needs no, like, you can't argue the truth because it stands by itself. That's like similar to the term, the truth needs no defending. And I do feel like that. The reality of the situation is we can see what type of dynamic y'all have, and for most people it just wouldn't work. But it's like, if it worked for y'all, then, you know, have at it. To each their own, really and truly. But I think, like, a lot of people got to see that, like, Tisha really, I know they try to make it seem like they were good and everything was good, but we got to see, like, Tisha not really wanting to be like that whole, like, just at home with the kids and doing all of that kind of stuff. She wanted to do other stuff. So it's like, were y'all good? Like, were y'all solid in y'all roles? Because it was seeming like from the beginning that Tisha wanted to do more. But then we get Dr. Francis talking to Kimmy and Maurice, and this is what I mean when I say, like, they just, I was like, what? Maurice says that he does not feel like there should be any reason why when you're married you can't have sex every day. And nobody should say no to the other person. And I loved when Dr. Francis was like, have you considered that, like, she has the rights over her body? And if she wants to say no, she has the right to? Like, what are you talking about? You don't own her? Like, are you crazy? Imagine being married to a man that thinks that whenever he wants to have sex with you, you have to just open up your legs and acquiesce. Maurice, from what I was able to gather from this scene, was that he obviously thinks that Kimmy is some sort of house slave and sex slave. Because you want her to have sex with you whenever you want to, but you also feel like that's woman's work or not man's work to do things around the house. So you want her to be doing everything in the house. She still got to work. I don't know if she got a business or not, but I can recall her saying something about a business. So you want her to be running her business and having sex with you whenever you want her to. Like, do you think she's some sort of superhuman? That she got batteries in her back that they could literally just be taken out and put some new ones in there and then she ready to go? There have been a lot of, like, allegations as far as Maurice and Marceau is concerned with, like, the cheating stuff, because obviously we know Martell got caught because he ended up falling in love with his girl that he was cheating on Mel with. But it has been a lot of allegations about them cheating, and based on those allegations, I feel like, and just seeing them in the midst of this show, like, they definitely give me that they feel like they can do whatever they want. And obviously not out in the open, but they feel like they can do whatever they want, and the woman just needs to be at home doing whatever they tell her to do, and that's that. And it's like, Lord have mercy, Jesus. I don't understand how Kimmy ended up in this mess. Okay, Kimmy is far too great and articulate and emotionally intelligent to be in a situation where Maurice feels like she needs to be at home doing everything and anything at the drop of a hat, like she's some sort of Stepford wife. The lies. Dr. Francis says that, like, this was like his closing statement, and then the episode went off, which I loved. He said, the more you do with her, the more you embrace her as a person and not just a partner to have sex with. Because I feel like that is really how they feel. They feel like their wives are just women that need to be at home, taking care of the household, having sex with them whenever they want, and shutting up. That's what it's given. And it's like, I don't feel like they see it as like, yo, I like this person, I love this person, I have fun with this person, I enjoy this person, I want to spend my life with this person because I love them so much, I have fun with them. It's like, no, I need somebody to take care of my household and raise my children while I go do whatever I want to do. But anyways, that was it for this episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Let me know down in the comments what you thought. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are not subscribed, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.